Hey there, my name is Dev, and today we're breaking down another top question in the online coaching industry, which is how do I conduct a sales call? Now, as we know, one of the biggest differentiating factors between a lot of coaches that have created wealth and a successful, consistent business, and maybe some that have inconsistent results is our ability to sell. It's conducting that sales call when you do get leads coming to you. And so today I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to conduct that call. So when you do have more people interested in potentially booking more calls with you, you have a better closing ratio and therefore helping more people and making more money for your online coaching business. So we're going to go through that process. And of course, at the very end, I'm going to give you some special tips, my favorite tips that allowed me to help close $10,000 deals and generate $20,000 months plus in my online coaching business. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Number one, I think we just have to really understand that sales is that lifeblood of your business. If you aren't closing deals, you aren't moving forward. See, in my last online coaching business where we coached coaches, when people would come to these calls and, they would say that they're doing so well in their online coaching business, I would ask them two questions and I would understand exactly where they are in their business. Number one, how many calls did you book last month? Number two, how many of those did you close? If those numbers are low, I already know exactly how much you're making and where your business is. And so that's how simple it is. A lot of this does rely on how many calls we have on the calendar and how many of those calls on the calendar we're actually closing, right? So when we understand that this is one of the most, if not the most important piece to it, to your business, of course, with the other things like marketing and of course client success, we have to really put emphasis on this. Use your own experience and psychology of how you feel, how you like to operate, and use that, incorporate that into a sales process. As a quick preface, remember, there isn't a one size fits all when it comes to sales. Some people do really good at being able to do great presentations and really understanding people, and some people are really good at just being able to dissect the truth and really listen to what people are saying and like a surgeon just really get to the main point without all that fluff, right? So you really have to know how you sell best and how you like to be, how you feel most comfortable, how you like to feel, maybe vulnerable in the sales process in order to really help someone else make that decision, okay? So that's the first thing. The next thing here is just really, it's sell or be sold. You know what I mean? And I think what that means to a T is that if you aren't sold on your ability to help that person or help somebody in their current situation, then their excuses you'll get sold on. For example, in my last business, when coaches told me, I think I'm good right now. I just wanted to jump on this call because you asked to jump on it, right? If there's things like this, and if your mind actually starts to think that that's real, if your mind starts to maybe resonate with that, so you feel like you can get behind that, you can understand where they're coming from, you won't close the deal, right? And so your mindset when it comes to this is always remembering nobody is that bored that they're jumping on a clarity call, a coaching call, a sales call, an introductory call. They're not doing this for no reason. They're doing this because they're in a situation that they're trying to get out of, and you are the solution. And you have to remember that. So no matter what it is, if people are saying they don't have the money for it, if people are saying, they've tried things before and it just doesn't work out, the moment you start to resonate with that story, the moment you start to lose power, and then it basically never goes the way that you want it to go. So you always have to be sold and confident in what you offer. If you aren't confident in what you're offering, if you don't believe that you can actually help someone, then this also is a big thing. This is actually more important than the sales process itself. This is more important than the objection handling and the things I'm going to share at the very end of the video, because at the end of the day, if you don't even believe you can help someone, it doesn't matter how much your program is, even if it's free. People still won't, because they can sense the hesitation. They can see that you're not confident in your ability to do this, and they'd rather go somewhere else like YouTube to really move it forward, right? So just sell or be sold, be confident in what it is that you're selling. And if you're not, go coach people for free. Go get some testimonials and really go feel good about that process. So let's really understand how to conduct a sales call. And there is a process. There is a flow for this. And a lot of people don't know this. And this was a big thing that I used to get a lot in my last business. People used to say, I didn't realize that there was an actual sales process. I thought you just jumped in and asked certain questions and, it seemed a lot more conversational. The thing is, even when, sales calls are more conversational, there still is a flow. The person has just been doing it for a longer time, and so they're good at being able to potentially skip certain questions because they can see what they need to see to move it forward. So it feels more conversational, but there is that process. And so at a very high level overview, everything always starts with building rapport, as you already know. No matter where you go, top performing individual, high performance rep will always start with some, great energy, building relationships. Where are you from? Right? And because this is an online business, you can literally have clients all over the world. And so, build some rapport here. Where are you from? Oh, I've never been there before. What's your favorite thing out there? If I was to travel there, I would love to visit, this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Build something around that so that way you have something. Because if you're doing something that you wouldn't normally ask, it comes off as fake, it comes off as not authentic, and you can really start these calls off on the wrong foot by doing the wrong things too. So just in your own head, just remember that this is a person. Yes, it's a sales call. Yes, there's a potential chance they're going to pay you money. Yes, there's a chance that you're going to be able to help this person in their life, but they are a person first. And a lot of people, they forget this. When they're on a call with someone, they get so nervous because they're like, if I mess up, if I say something the wrong way, if I don't do something, then I'm going to lose out on this opportunity to make money. And all you have to do is be a person, be a person first, get to know them, be interested in them. And that will help translate them being able to potentially open up and be more vulnerable at the very end, right? So these things matter. Once you get through the rapport section, you really want to understand why they're here. And I know this is a simple question, but you'd be surprised at some of the answers that you get. I've actually conducted a sales call where I asked the person, so why are you here? And they said, literally, the sales call was about 5 minutes long. They said they've been watching what we've been doing. They see all the client success and the testimonials. They just wanted to make sure that we're real people and they were going to move forward. That's it. I didn't have to go through the sales process anymore. I didn't have to continue selling. Our marketing on the back end did all of the work for us. Right? So asking the question of why are you here? What are you looking to get out of this call? It's a simple enough question, but it really gets the reality of it. Some people may say things like, oh, I'm just here for free information. I may just be here because you asked me to jump on a call. I've got that before too, right? Or I'm looking to invest into my next coaching business. I'm looking to solve this problem that I haven't been able to solve yet. The options are really endless here. And a lot of people skip this question because they feel like, oh, well, obviously I asked this person to jump on a call. I should already know why they're here. I should already know that they're here because they want to solve this. But it's different and it's more powerful when it's coming from them. So build rapport and then ask, what are you looking to get from this call? And I know I asked you, but why else did you agree to jump onto this call? Because you have to remember, you didn't force them. You didn't hold somebody ransom to jump on this call. They free willingly came to this call. So your job is to understand their motive. That's the goal here. Why did they come? What is it that they're trying to fix that they haven't been able to yet? And that's why they're looking and responding to messages like this, right? You got to think from the other perspective too. If you aren't on the market for something, you're probably not searching for it. If you found this video, that means you're probably struggling with sales and you want more closure, more consistent sales. You want to be able to be better at sales. If you were great at sales, you're probably not going to find this video. You know what I mean? And that's not a shot. But the reality is you're not going to find things that you already have. You're not going to look for things that you're already good at. And that's the point. If people are booking these calls with you, they're trying to solve something. Your job is to understand from their own perspective, their own words, why they're here on this call. So we have build rapport, understand why they're here. What is the thing they're trying to fix or solve? Then from here, there's a series of next questions here. First question, in no particular order, the goal is to make sure you get this information, but you want to be fluid to go based on where the flow of the conversation is or what feels better in the moment. How long have you been trying to solve this situation, this challenge that you're in? And the next thing, what have you tried to do this? What have you tried to fix this? And why did that not work? Obviously, we're asking why did that not work? Because if it did, they would not be on this call, right? So why did that not work for you? Why do you think that that didn't work for you, right? And how committed are you to solving this challenge, right? Now, these three questions are really so vital to the sales process. And a lot of people don't get this. And I'll just take a moment here to just put in. A lot of people think that the sales process is like 10% of everything that happens before you present the actual offer. And then 90% is like after you've presented the offer and you showed how much it was. And now it's, objection handling and negotiation, things like that. That's not the case. It's actually the opposite. 90% of the sales call is before you present the offer. You actually make or break the deal and the sale before you even present the offer. If you do a good enough job, it doesn't matter how much the price is. They will figure out a way to make it work if they're believing and sold that you are the person who, one, understands them, and two, they believe you are the person who will help them get out of their situation. That is the reality of the situation. A lot of people miss that. So don't skip these questions. Don't overlook the power of asking these questions. And my favorite saying is like, get stuck in. When you ask a question like, so how long have you been wrestling with this thing? Maybe they're a coach and they want to get more clients for their online business. Cool. So how's it going? Cool. Build a little rapport. So I got to ask, what's your motive for this call? Why'd you jump on? Well, you asked me to. Okay, I hear you. What other reason did you have to take time out of your day? I know you're busy, right? What other motive and reason did you have to jump onto this call? Well, I'm kind of struggling with my coaching business. I'm getting maybe inconsistent results. I would like to get more consistent results with my business. Okay, amazing. So you're looking to get better at sales. Is that a sales problem? Is that like a lead generator? Is it content creation? Clarify, right? I'd like to get better at sales. I feel like I'm good everywhere else. I just want to get more sales. I want to get better with sales. Okay, great. So how long have you been running your business? Just so I understand, how long have you been running your business? I've been running my business for 2 years. Okay, 2 years. And how long have you had inconsistent results where you feel like your ability to close deals has let you down? Well, for as long as I can remember. Okay, so you've been running your business for 2 years and you think you've had this challenge for almost 2 years. Would you agree with that, or am I putting words in your mouth here? Right? Oh no, I think that's right. Okay, so for 2 years, and that's how long you've been wrestling with this. Yes. You want to really reinforce it. You want people to really sit in it. Everything that I'm doing here is making them realize that this isn't something that they're going to just jump off this call without investing into something and just solve it. If they've run their business for 2 years and they've been wrestling with this for the last 2 years, they're going to continue to wrestle with it until they figure something out. So me continuously reinforcing this and going back into it and making sure that they're saying it and they're seeing it black and white is a big part of being able to help them understand their own situation. All right, cool. So 2 years, cool. Now, what have you tried to solve this? And a lot of people here, and this is my rule of thumb when it comes to this, don't try to lead people. I know a lot of people are like, oh, lead people, don't lead people, whatever. The thing is, when you lead people, it's very easy for people to just say yes. And they're not actually thinking anymore. They're just on autopilot. Your job is to get them out of autopilot. You get people out of autopilot when you don't allow them to just say yes or no answers, where you actually have to get them to dig deep. Now, here's my favorite thing. Don't lead. Hey, so what if you tried to fix this? If they need a moment to think, so many coaches that I've seen and personally helped, doesn't matter how much experience and how much money they generated, they always try to jump in and help to make it like less awkward or whatever. You lose your power. There's just so many things that go wrong when you jump in. So you ask a question like, hey, how long have you been trying to do this for? They say 2 years. Then you say, so what have you tried? And they go, oh, well, and then you jump in and say, well, YouTube, podcasts, right? You probably read books. Oh yeah, that's what I've done. You've just taken out their ability to really think through everything that they've tried. And now they're just yes-manning. Oh yeah, that's what I've done. They don't know. And them not being able to sit and think about how they've tried so many things and how that felt when they read this book and it still didn't produce the results. They watched this 4-hour YouTube video and it still didn't produce the results. They listened to podcasts for months and years and they still haven't been able to solve. They're not You just saying this and them saying yes negates all of the emotion that comes with all the things they've ever tried. Do you want to just really allow it? Allow it. Be patient. Use silence. Silence is the most underrated thing. And for me, when I've closed $10,000 to $1,000 deals, I was not talking a lot. I was asking the right questions, and when people were thinking, I didn't jump in because they have to feel it. If they don't feel it and they're not emotionally attached to their situation, then they won't be ready to make a move because it just feels like another whatever type of situation. And it's not that. This is the pinnacle between them staying in their situation for another 5 years or them investing into you and potentially 6 months or a year later completely changing the trajectory of their life, their family's life, and everything that they can create for their life and their business. That is how sold you need to be on this. This is how confident you need to be. This is where it is. And so when you ask the question of like, so what all have you tried? Don't jump in. Don't. Even if you know the answers, don't jump in. Allow them to sit with it. And some people will think, or, and there's my 2 golden hacks, because you're getting all the gems today. My 2 golden gems is 1, be silent. Stop over talking and talking yourself out of sales. And 2, right? This is my favorite. What else? Just the phrase, what else, does so much for people and they don't realize this. So when someone says, so what have you tried? And they go, oh, I've read books. I got you. Don't jump into, oh, what books have you read? I've read books too. Oh yeah, that's so amazing. You're so incredible. Don't jump into all of this stuff. What have you tried? I've read books. Gotcha. Read some books. What else? Oh, what else? Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff on YouTube. Okay, gotcha. So you read books, you're on YouTube, YouTube University, you're just trying out all the free information. What else? And you'll see people, I haven't really been past this part. Because a lot of it is just in my mind, just reactionary defense responses. Oh yeah, it's this. Oh yeah, it's that. Oh yeah, it's this. Now you're getting people to get through the noise. This is the point. Get through the noise. So when you ask, okay, what else? Now they have to really think. So I've read books, I said that. I watched YouTube videos, I said that. Sit. Let them sit and ponder. If they don't even know what they've tried, like how much more leverage do you have now to be like, come on, it's been 2 years. You don't know things that you've tried? And how bad do you want to change this thing? You want more consistent results for your business. You want to change the life. You want to retire your partner. You want to create generational wealth. But you can't tell me the things that you've tried? Then you obviously don't want it, right? Wouldn't you make that inference? If we come away from being so desperate that we just want every single person to be likable and we just want them to like us because if they like us then they're going to pay us money, come from a coach's point of view. You cannot tell me what you've tried to solve your situation? Then you must not want it bad enough. You couldn't. And this is the point. So have them sit with it. Have them sit in their mindset to really think about all the different things. And again, don't lead. Did you invest over here? Have you ever had a high ticket coach? Stop doing that. Because even if they didn't, and I just go, oh yeah, I did that, how would you know? And now you're adding things that aren't there to potentially have to handle things that didn't even need to come up. And that happens so often, right? I've seen that so many times. So just allow them to sit with it. And don't say anything. Some of my favorite things, I'll take a sip of water. I'm still present. I'm still here. I'm not jumping on my phone. I'm not trying to search something else. I'm here present, but I'm being patient. I'm giving them space to meet me. This is a conversation. This is how you have a conversation with someone. You ask a question and you give them time to answer. So you wait, have a sip, smile, nod your head, nodding, right? That's a good thing. People, and then they'll start nodding and then, oh yeah, and I think I did this too, right? And just, cool, what else? What else? You'd be surprised. I've actually asked this question of what else have you tried? And I'll say, what else? And they'll keep going. I've tried books, podcasts, what else? YouTube video, I invested before, what else? I went to a local seminar, what else? I actually learned from a movie. I started watching more movies around sales. Okay, what else? Yeah, I created a game. There was a quiz online. There was an app that I downloaded. What else? Yeah, there's some of my friends. I started getting feedback from people. I started doing free quizzes. It's infinite. I'm telling you. And for every single person, it's different. But for them, it matters so much. And you have to really be able to stick in it to realize it. That's a big deal. It's where people miss. This is why people who have such great opportunities miss out on deals because they don't make it specific. They don't make it that person. As soon as someone comes in, they go YouTube, book, and podcast, you're already thinking about the last 10 people that said that. You're not even thinking about this person anymore. Do you want to be specific and individualize this, personalize this conversation that you're having with this person? Forget about everything else. So then you say, rapport, right? What is the motive? Why did you jump on today? How long have you been trying to solve this? What have you tried, right, to do this, to fix this situation? And once you're done the what else, they'll let you know. That's it. Great, no problem. Nothing else, right? And you can make a joke about it too. People underestimate how powerful that is, the what else. I'm telling you, you can ask it for everything. Everything. Just ask. The next time, after you watch this video, the next conversation that you have, just ask someone, hey, what was a good thing that happened to you today? This thing happened to me. All right, great. What else? Oh, well, this thing happened too. Oh, wow, that's amazing. What else? Well, this wasn't today, but yesterday this thing happened, and people will just keep going until they are tapped out. And that is the goal. You want to keep going until they literally tell you, that's it, man. That's it. And that's a great place to be. Cool. And then after you ask that question, the next thing here is, why do you think those things didn't work for you? And again, it just solidifies why it doesn't work. I read a book, I listened to a podcast, I tried YouTube, but they didn't understand me. I couldn't ask questions. I didn't have any support. I didn't know if I didn't resonate with that person anymore. Like, whatever it is for that person, your job is to help understand why they feel that information did not allow them to move forward with this challenge they've been wrestling with for X amount of time. That's the goal. So why do you think that didn't work for you? And you can even hype them up a little bit. And be authentic, be genuine with this stuff. But you can even say, you're one of the sharper people I've had on these calls. You seem like you have it more put together. So why do you think those things, knowing like what you know, what you've been able to do, and all the things that you've been able to do with your life, with your business, why do you think those things didn't work for you? Now you're putting them up on a pedestal for them to be like, you're right, I am better than most people. I have been able to do things really well. I am very resourceful. I am very coachable. I am very good. I have a lot of skills. I have a lot of belief in myself. Why wasn't I able to do that? And that's where you really want them to start thinking psychologically. I am so good at what I do. Why have I not been able to solve this thing yet? Right? And when you're here, again, be calm, be silent, allow them to come to the realizations and conclusions on their own. And oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes you'll realize the biggest reason as to why those things don't work is because they can't ask questions, there's no ongoing support, and without any accountability, it doesn't matter. I could watch a 4-hour YouTube video. If I don't implement it, no one's going to hold me accountable. No one's going to tell me that I should be doing these things. That's the point. And that is why coaching is so valuable. Right? Because you can offer those sorts of things. It's even more valuable if you've actually been where they are and you've worked yourself out of it. Because now you really know. And that's the point. You want them to understand that you know how they feel because you've been there. And you get them without speaking over them, allowing them to speak for themselves. That's the idea. And then from here, these questions, it's only 4 questions so far, and building rapport. You could be on this for 10 to 15 minutes. And that may or may not seem like a lot of time, but in the mind of the person, it's like it finally feels real. It's finally like, wow, this is actually a call where it's not only about them. Because this is, again, a big problem that a lot of coaches have. You jump on a sales call with someone, and I'm on with you, and I'm just going to tell you about how amazing I am. Oh yeah, this is my program, and this is all the success I've got, and this is where I was, and I've been where you are, and I already know all these things, and this is why I created this program. Let me show you the program. Let me show you the back end. Let me show you all the... They don't care yet. You haven't made it real for them. You're just jumping on and just talking to someone about why you're so amazing. It's supposed to be about them. Before you present the offer, they should be the ones talking. You ask a couple sentence questions. So why do you think that happened? Hey, where are you at right now? How bad do you want to change this? If you were able to solve this problem, this one that you've been wrestling with for 2 years, the one that you've tried all these things for and you felt it didn't work because of this, if you were able to solve that, snap your fingers 6 months from now, what does your life look like? That is a question that you'll never get to ask when you're just talking about yourself the whole time, or you haven't made it real for them. And that's the transition. Once you understand this, transition now is if you were able to solve this thing for the X amount of time, right? Really do this for your life. What changes? And just allow them to sit with it. Allow them to. Now, you have to realize, depending on how good you have been up until this point, some people may not be vulnerable yet. They may not be open with you yet. And don't take that personally. That just means you have to do a better job of building rapport and asking questions to make them feel like you genuinely care. And you'll get better with that with time. There's no book or podcast or even YouTube video or blog. It's going to help you get that experience. You do it yourself. But the idea here is this. What changes in your life and business if you solve this thing that you've been wrestling with, you've tried all these things for, what changes in your life? And some people may just say, well, my life gets better. Don't accept that answer. That's a half-ass answer. How does it get better? Well, I make more money. Well, how much more money? Well, I don't know. That's the point. You don't know how good your life would be, so why would you chase this thing? Why would you invest into something to better that situation that you don't know where you're going to get to? Make it real for them. No problem. So what changes? What changes for you if you're able to solve this? Yeah, I make more money. Absolutely. How much more money? A lot of money. I got it. Just put a number on it for me. Make $100, you make $1,000, you make $10,000, you make $1 million. Like, what changes in your life and business if you're able to solve this challenge that you're going through right now? Maybe I make $10,000. Great. So you solved this challenge today, one that you've been wrestling with for the last 2 years, and you're able to now make $10,000 in your business. Is that per month or is that one time? Oh, that's per month. Okay, great. So you solved this, now you're making $10,000 per month. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, how does that feel? That feels great. Okay, so now you're making $10,000 a month to your business. What does your life look like? Well, it will feel good. How does it feel good? Dressing better? Are you traveling more? Now, I mentioned before, don't lead. The difference is when you're leading, trying to probe and ask them what they've done, it's different than probing and leading when it comes to creating the vision for them. So it is contextual, right? You don't want to lead when it comes to trying to get them easy ways out, when you're trying to allow them to paint the vision. And the reason I say that is because now you say, okay, well, do you dress better? Not to say your clothes aren't great now, but are you going to move? Are you still going to live where you are now? You're going to buy a house somewhere else? Well, yeah, I would love to buy a house. Where would you buy that house? I'd buy a house in Mexico. Okay, great. Have you already looked there? Have you been there? No, I like it. I love Mexico. I go there every year. Okay, great. Do you think you would go more often if you start making $10,000 a month in your business? Yeah, I guess I would. That's the point. Because now you're building them up rather than allowing them to escape out, right? Escaping out is bad. Building up on something is better. You're making it real for them. And a lot of the times when people are afraid to invest into something, it's because they don't think that this was going to be the thing that allowed them to get to the end result. But the problem is, golden nugget, they don't even know what the end result is. They're just here like, I need to get more sales and I need to get better at sales. But they don't realize what happens in their life when they do get better at sales. Everything changes. They give their kids a better life, their partner a better life. They finally buy that dream car that they've been wanting. They go on that dream vacation. They have that cottage. They buy a ski-doo, whatever it is. It's important to them. And your job is to really try to understand what is important to them. Because if you can understand what's important to them here, you tie it back to them. You've been doing this for 2 years. You want that ski-doo. Is this worth it if you know you can get the ski-doo in 6 months to a year from now? Is it worth it? Well, I don't know. I'd like to get it sooner. Absolutely. And then again, you want to be ethical and courteous with the response. But hey, if this year you don't make any changes based on the last 2 years of your business, what do you think is going to change if you don't make any changes? Not much, right? And that's what you want them to really sit with. And so from here, the idea is, okay, so now you're starting to paint the picture between this is where you are now, this is how long you've been here, this is what you've tried, this is why it didn't work, this is how bad they want to solve it, this is what their life would look like, right? Once they have solved this, then again, how committed are you to that future, to that life you want, to that vision that you have for yourself, for your family, for the generations of people that come after you? How committed are you to that? Do you believe you can do that? Do you believe? Is your current belief level at a point where you know that that's going to happen? Or is your belief not there yet? Does it still feel like a dream? Does it still feel like, oh, I need to really think through this stuff? Because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with them feeling like, oh, I actually haven't really put that much thought towards it. That's fine. That they don't necessarily need to invest today now to get that. Maybe it is good for them to go back and sit and ponder and think. They're always going to remember that you're the person that helped them see that. Right? And sometimes that's what people forget. Just because you have a sales call today and they don't buy, doesn't mean they're gone forever. We've had people where sometimes 30 days after we had a sales call, they buy. 6 months after they buy. A year after. 2 years after. We've also had it the next day. But like, it's just a process. It's a nurturing sequence. You got to play the long game. And of course, our sometimes scarcity mind is like, well, I need to close this person today. Realize that you're building the relationship with people. And so when you allow them to really paint the vision, yeah, a lot of people will be like, this is the future that I want for myself. I know it. I believe it. I know I'm worth it. I know I deserve it. Let's do it. That's what they'll do because they'll feel it. You will, of course, get people that aren't like that don't believe it, that don't see that they deserve it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You can try to empower them. You can try to like give them, the kind words of encouragement here, but sometimes it's just not enough. And this is the point. If you get to this point and you realize that the biggest challenge that they have is that they don't believe in themselves. When people get to the end of the sales, right, and they're like, I don't have money. It was never they don't have money, right? It was never that it's too expensive. It was never all the objections that most people get. It's usually something here, and your job is to get it before you even present the offer. That's the idea. And then once you understand this stuff and they're like, yeah, I have the belief, I have the skills, I'm so excited, I'm so eager to do this, then at this point, what ends up happening is very simple. Well, I've been sitting with you for a little while, name. I now know, based on the information, thank you for being open and sharing this stuff with me. But now I know that your motive for jumping on this call today is because you want to get better at sales. You've run your business for 2 years, you've had some results, but you want them to be more consistent. You've tried things like podcasting, books, you've had YouTube courses, you even bought some low ticket courses, but the reason that those things didn't work is because no one held you accountable. You had no support system, and when you had questions and you got stumped, there was nothing there. There was no one there for you to move us forward. And from what I'm understanding as well, if you were able to solve this problem, which I'm not sure if you know, but I actually have helped a handful of people in your current situation. I myself was in your same situation and I helped myself out of it. But now that you see that there are people that have been where you are, that have the results that you want, that can help you out of this situation. Now you see that you can be helped out of this situation. You now know if you get out of your current situation, the same thing you've been wrestling with for the last 2 years, your life looks different. Your life looks like going on vacation more often, buying that house in Mexico, buying that ski-doo which you love, which everyone tells you that you shouldn't get, but you want it anyways and you love it, right? All of the personal things that you just mentioned, and you say, if I could help you do that in 6 months, 30 days, however long your offer is that something you'd be interested in? Is that something that I can show you more at length what comes with this sort of process? How I can personally help you get this done for you. And that's how it is. Like, that's how it should be. That is how you conduct a sales call. And then from here, you present your offer. Here's a couple case studies, people that were in your situation. Now they have this. Now they've been able to do this. Here's him over here, and he just did this incredible thing. Cool. So right now, you're coming in at this stage, means you get support, the accountability that you were lacking, the ability to ask questions, you're going to get a community. You have weekly group calls. You have these sorts of things. And so for right now, do you see how that can make sense to you? Yes, absolutely. Great. So right now, this is the price. You can break it down into a couple payments. And here you have it. Do you have any questions for me before we go ahead and get started? And that's the big key. You got to close it up. A lot of people just present it and they just sit there. Close it. Go for it. So this is it. We can either do the one-time payment or you can break it up into payments of 3. Which one works better for you? And how would you like to get started today? And then from here, now you're in the negotiation. When you don't do that of like, how do you want to get started today? Any questions for me before we get started? Any questions for me before we go ahead and process the first payment? Before you do that, it's the sales process. When you do that, you effectively close the sales process and now you're into the negotiation. They're two separate pieces. In the sales process, you're smiling, you're excited, you want to know about them, you get it, you want to know, you want them to share, you want them to be vulnerable. You are a human being. Yes, coach, but you are just trying to connect with them. Negotiation, now this is business. Now, as a coach, I'm going to educate you on why you need to do this today, right? And now this is the point of the call where now you have to just stick in. Based on the information, right, that they've told you, you gotta, if you're not good at what you do, then I understand why you wouldn't push for it. But if you're good at what you do and you know you can help this person, you know you can without a shadow of a doubt, why wouldn't you say, hey, I don't want you to leave this call and spend another 2 years doing the same things that you're doing. I want you to get off this call knowing that you've done something about this, you feel good about it, and 6 months or 30 days from now or 90 days from now, you can actually have something to look forward to, right? Like that's the point, and that's the conviction you need to have when it comes to your business, when it comes to this point. So you ask to close, awesome. So you have two options, pay in full, or you have a payment option. Which one works better for you? And then here, now it gets into the negotiations. And then of course there's gonna be some objection handles, right? I'll never make deals on the spot. I gotta consult my wife or my partner. You know, I'm still on the market. I'm still looking at these people, and all of these things matter. They do. But if you've done your job properly and built a real relationship, these won't come up that much. And there are ways to handle all of these things, of course, as well. It's like, oh, I need to, you know, consult my partner, right? Absolutely. Smart person as well. How long have you been with your partner, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, I've been with them for 5 years. Amazing. Like, if your relationship is anything like mine, your partner knows you're on this call. If anything, they're probably excited and happy for you because they probably see all the times you've been wrestling with this, you've been stressed about it, and they know how badly you want this. They probably want this more for you than you want it yourself. So let me ask you really quick before we have to go and spend time talking to your wife. Is this something that you want? Like, do you see this as something that could help you in your situation? Because if you don't, let's just save the conversation. If you don't see that this could help you, then why bother going to ask and talk about it? Let's just, you know, let's just come to that now. Just allow me to be where you are because I just want to understand. Is this something that you can see that works for you? Yeah. Okay. What do you think about this process would help you? Now you're trying to get them to sell you on why they think this would work, right? And I'm telling you, I've done this, and people will say, well, you know, you've done it already. Oh, you've obviously done this already. Okay, great. What else? Well, you have a great track record. Okay, what else? Well, I really want to solve this, and I think that you can help me. Okay, great. What else? Keep going. Them right now, they were selling themselves on why you're the best fit to help them. And your job right now is to make sure that this is the right fit for them. And if they feel like it is, honestly, I've had this before where I just kept asking what else, and they're like, yeah, why do I need to ask? Okay, let's just do it. And they do it, and then they just move on with their life because that's the thing, right? They want to do it. And it's true. Most people who are in a relationship or a business partnership, they know they are telling their partner, hey, I'm doing this thing because I'm excited for this. So you're not lying and you're not being unethical by saying, like, look, you know them. They know you. They know that you're on this call. So do you want to go back and tell them you're not sure? Or do you want to go back and tell them the good news on how confident you are on moving forward and finally putting to rest this challenge that you've been wrestling with for the last 2 years, right? It's like that. Now, of course, this has obviously come with 6+ years of sales experience, door to door, in person, B2B, high ticket sales, all that jazz. But you get the point. You're going to get better with it at time. And if you can really just focus on asking the right questions and being personable with people, I'm telling you, that matters more than being able to have the arsenal that I do and being able to handle every single different thing. There's not many things that I can't handle. Whatever objection, there's usually a handful of different ways. But the goal is you don't need to be a sales master. You just gotta get better at the sales process. So yes, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you can see here how having a clear process that really allows you to extract the information that you need to make sure that it's a right fit. A lot of people, again, it's a scarcity thing, thinking like, oh, it's a sales call. It's my only way to make money. Sometimes you forget, and it's a great place. It's a healthy place to be when you're in business and you can turn people away because they're not the right fit for you. You can turn business away because you know they don't align with your values. They're not a great fit. It's a great place to be rather than just being desperate for anyone who can pay you, even if they, don't fit the values. that you have for your life and for your business. So your job in this is to really identify if there's someone that you would want to work with. Because trust me, I've been there as well. In my last business, we generated over 7 figures, and we took on clients we knew we shouldn't have done it because they just infringed upon our values. They just seemed like they were going to be a headache. It took like 6 calls for them to even invest. And even on the time that they were supposed to invest, they tried to renege on the agreement instead of paying in full. And they wanted to break it up into 4 payments, which we didn't even offer. It was just a headache. We ended up doing it anyways. And lo and behold, 30 days later, they're, crybaby and all this, and they want to leave, right? So the thing is, your job is to really identify if they're even going to be a good fit for you too. So it's not only one-sided, it's not all about the money, it's making sure that they are gonna enhance. It's a partnership. They're betting on you, you're betting on them. And that is how it goes. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe. If you're on the YouTube channel, make sure you check out the blog and check out the website. If you're not too familiar with what we do now, after generating 7 figures, I'm now with my partner, and we've actually created an agency for coaches, online coaches. We have a platform, we've got support, we've got all the great things to help you excel and succeed. And we've got so much on the back end. Go check out the website, go check out the blog, go check out the other videos. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one.